1,513. That's how many miles make up a ribbon of humanity that snakes its way from a mountain range in a desolate section of West Texas and runs like a lifeline halfway across the U.S., ending in a spaghetti-style interchange just west of Florence, South Carolina. Interstate 20. Like all interstate roadways in our nation, I-20 is drama, boredom, isolation, frustration, and human intrigue all rolled up into one very large asphalt and concrete theater. To get from point A to point B, it is easy to whisk down the road, never pausing to think about what is going on mere feet from where we are hurling along in our large metal solitary chambers. And so we rarely know or want to know what is happening beyond the comfortable confines of our own car. It is easy to understand then how if you drive I-20 between Birmingham and Atlanta, not one driver of the over 10 million that use the roadway every year knows that it is America's #1 road for human sex trafficking. That's right. The same road that is the very symbol of our freedom as a people is also a symbol of a slavery epidemic so prolific that the sheer numbers dwarf a darker time in our nation when slavery was actually legal. 4 times the amount of people in 2013 are sold as slaves as the year before the Civil War, and 75% of these humans are trafficked as sex slaves, a $13 billion industry in the U.S. alone.
I grew up in a upper middle class family. For my 16th birthday, my parents threw me a pizza party and they bought me a brand new Honda Accord. Of course, it came with a curfew. They had to know where I was at all times. But I didn't mind. I had my wheels, I had my freedom. But sooner or later, my parents really started to crack down on what I could and couldn't do. My mom wouldn't let me wear this shirt that I had bought, and she said it was too tight and too low. But I had this one friend at school, Maggie. I just thought my parents were too strict. I wanted to be more like Maggie. She didn't have any rules. She didn't have a curfew. She did what she wanted when she wanted. Well, soon Maggie and I became close. And I confided in her that I needed a job to pay for my car insurance and to pay for more clothes to keep at school. And she told me about her job and how easy the money was. And that's where it all started. 3 months from that time, life as I knew it was over. I went on several dates, and I finally met this guy, and he introduced me to a whole new world. He bought me DVDs and clothes and perfumes, just anything I wanted. And I loved him. I mean, this guy was the one. Well, he convinced me to leave home, and I guess I was willing to do anything. And so I did. And he said we should go to Vegas, and that I needed to sleep with several guys in order to get the money. Just do that one thing, and we'd have our dream life. Well, he began questioning me about the money that I was bringing him. And he began beating me. And he took all my identification away. It was over. I mean, he wasn't my boyfriend. He was my pimp. And the scariest part is I didn't even see it coming.
For most victims, here is how it begins. The target is a teenager, averaging 16 years of age. Many, however, are younger, some as young as 13. One of their friends, a person called a bottom girl, introduces the victim to a new friend at a party. This new friend quickly wins the admiration of the victim through different means, typically lavish gifts and the promise of grown-up life experiences. Through this enticing, trusting relationship, the trafficker convinces the teen to run away from home, and he or she will put them up in an apartment. Once this happens, the trap has been set. Once the victim is in the trap, there is no easy means of escape. And so enters I-20 as the perfect corridor of transportation for this valuable product.
I average 700 miles a day. You know, it's 11 hours a day, non-stop driving. You know, you're out here on the big road, and you know, the view now, you know, normal people looks like everybody every day, driving home, back and forth to work, business. I mean, you got big trucks out here. It's a very, very busy interstate from Atlanta all the way to Dallas. And a lot of people don't know, you know, this I-20 is like the superhighway of human trafficking. It's not a, you know, every day someone's out here getting busted, or, you know, you can pull off at a rest area and you got these girls hopping out of a car running up to you asking you if you need any company. And it's I-20 is a growing problem. I don't think I've been on an interstate out here that is worse than I-20. A day don't go by I don't see 15, 20, 30 girls working these truck stops. Just Maryland is a 24-hour truck stop. You can get anything you want there. Sex, drugs, alcohol, it doesn't matter, you can get it. The law enforcement there, the only thing they have done to crack down on it is put up no parking signs outside on the side streets, and that's it. I was up in Charlotte, North Carolina. There was a truck stop up there, a little small one, pulled in there to get fuel. I wasn't even there 5 minutes, I had 2 girls walk up to me. You know, it's just like that. They, you know, it's sad.
A lot of these women and their pimps will know who belongs where. They know any new car that comes in into a truck stop or down a street, and they're very wary. They don't want themselves to be caught, so what they'll do is they'll watch these people and see just what's up. They want to make sure just what's going on, just like officers want to do their job. These people take this as their job, and they use every type of communication devices they can use. They use telephones, they use radios, and they'll call each other back and forth and tell the women or whoever. They'll be on the lookout for police officers, tell them to go hide, tell them when to come out. These people act as lookouts, and they're very aware of everything that's going on. Human trafficking and prostitution, it's always been out there, but it's not really a key issue. the main thing most officers try to do is get the ladies off the street. And much of that is going towards the women, and we're charging the women. Well, we need to find the women and get them to start talking to us and let them give us information to go further up the chain. Just rather than the street level, we can go further up and get the guys that are actually making them work for them.
Sex traffickers are using more and more creative ways to find and then entice their victims.
It just isn't what you think it is. Some poor, abused girl running from a troubled family life. No, it's clean, and it's nice. These pimps are altering their techniques to snare vulnerable girls any way that they can. It could be anybody. Some new friend you made on Facebook. Some really awesome guy you meet at the beach or at the mall. Could even be your best friend.
Sex traffickers have finally honed their techniques for breaking their product's spirit and making them go along with their intentions. Starvation, rape, gang rape, physical abuse, beating, confinement, threats of violence towards a victim and the victim's family, forced drug use, and shame. In practically no time, victims are indoctrinated into a life in which their pimps will make up to $250,000 a year on their services, and they are forced to see as many as 30 Johns a day. They are hopelessly locked into a dead-end life with no choices.
They liked her. They really liked her. I remember the moment when my daughter called to tell me she was going to be a model. She did everything you were supposed to do. She worked hard in school, made good grades, worked 2 jobs to save money for modeling school. We went through the modeling agencies to find the best one. We checked references. We did everything right. She said they were flying her to Los Angeles right away, and she'd be making big money. She was so excited. I was a little skeptical. I didn't want to squelch her joy, but I felt like I needed to check out this agency myself. She didn't like that. But I needed to reassure myself that this was for real, I guess. Everything at the agency went just like it was supposed to. Although I didn't expect them to be interested in me for modeling as well. And before you knew it, I knew it, we had both been signed as models. At LAX, we were met by a driver and escorted to the house where we were going to be living. The house was amazing. We were asked for our IDs and passports at the door. The agent explained that this would help expedite the travel around the world that we were going to be doing for photo shoots. The agency paid for everything. We were busy doing a lot of photo shoots. Before long, though, they asked us to pose nude. They said it would help get us comfortable in front of the cameras. But I guess the thought of that large paycheck at the end of the month was enough to overlook it. At the end of the first month, it all became very clear that the agency deducted everything they had spent on us from our paycheck. We actually owed the agency more than we had been paid. We were caught. They wouldn't let us go until we had paid them back. And the next natural thing to do to make some serious money was to pose for porn shoots. Why didn't we run away? Why? Guess you had to be there. They make you watch your porn shoots. It's a shame. You just stop thinking positively about yourself. You just feel such shame. In our case, they threatened our family and our friends if we didn't pay our debt. We were so scared. It's amazing how easy it is to get caught up in this and coerced into this life. It isn't what any of us imagine. It isn't a poor little unsuspecting, helpless girl getting run down in a dark alley by some rough-looking pimp. It's be one of your best friends coming up to you in the hallway at school and asking, hey, you want to make more easy money than you can imagine? It's that simple, that innocent, that scary.
For those who have yet to discover the hard way just how devastating and widespread this epidemic is, there are things we can all do to try and slow it down.
The reason that people are so unaware of this is it takes place in the shadows of society. Many young women are brought into the country from other parts of the world, and this doesn't happen just in the United States. This happens around the globe. There are 27 million people in some form of slavery today, more than at any other time in the history of mankind. But women are brought into another country, the United States, for example, with promise of a job in a restaurant or a job in an office. They come in and their passports are taken and they're trapped. And they're told, if you don't cooperate, your family's going to be hurt back home. Your mom, your dad will be killed. And so they wind up complying with the demands that are made on them because they're trapped and they feel they have no options. And often this goes on in ways that we never notice it, because most of us get up, we go to work, we go home, we go to the mall, we go to a ball game, we go to church, we go about our lives, and we're never aware of what's going on around us. We never suspect that the man and the woman in the booth next to us at the fast food restaurant could actually be a trafficker and a victim of trafficking. But it happens, and it happens more often than we realize because of the interstate corridors that come through Birmingham. People are here. We've got victims all around us that we're unaware of. And it doesn't hurt to know what the signs of a trafficking victim are, because one day you might find yourself encountering someone that would never tell you outright they're a victim of trafficking, but they're screaming out for help in very subtle ways.
If I had to say one thing to all the drivers out here, I would, when these girls approach you, ask them, how old are you? Ask for their ID. If they don't want to show you their ID, or if they say they don't have you, that's a good sign where they're under control of a pimp, because pimps don't let these girls keep their IDs. Open your mouth one time and making one phone call, but you probably could, just saved that little girl's life.
I mean, I would still be there if the police hadn't raided that brothel. And I think the most horrific part is my story is one of the good ones. There's still thousands of girls out there who haven't made it out yet and may never make it out. But that's something we gotta change.
For those who have fallen victim to this blight on our society, we created the Wellhouse. By collaborating with local and national law enforcement, we can intervene for these young women. We house, feed, clothe, and counsel them. But the need is large, and we need your help. We need to build facilities to house the increasing number of these victims. We have been able to change the fortunes for many of them and help return them to as normal a life as possible. 100% of your donation will go directly to those who have been affected by this horrible industry. And with your help, we can take them off this road and put them back on the path to the life they've imagined. Go to thewellhouse.org for more information.
The lady that I knew, I went to church with her parents, and just recently, her dad passed away. And the one thing he got to see before he passed away was his daughter was cleaned up. She was gotten out of prostitution, she got her kids back, she got her life back. And that's the main reason I've gotten involved with the Wellhouse, is because this man, he had his daughter back. For the time that he had left in his life, he got to see her back to what she should be. A good, productive part of society, a good, clean mother to her children. And that's just awesome to me.